dominant win from the UC Capitals. Big month of basketball coming up for Canberra, and it doesn't get much better than that. The Sydney Flames win.
They are in the top spot for a reason, and I have no doubt that they'll regroup.
A championship statement tonight from the UC Capitals. Gets the lucky roll. The Perth Lynx defeat the Lightning and firm up their place on top of the WNBL ladder. And this top four in this competition just evens up that little bit more.
And that's Laurie Chiswick. Laurie, Perth lost top spot in the last game of the regular season. Canberra coming off 2 big losses. How important is it for both teams to come out firing tonight, do you think?
Oh, well, it's very important. Game 1 is always really critical when you come to a semi-final series that's best 2 out of 3. And both teams play different styles of game, Julia. So we're going to see a bit of run and gun and loose action from Perth, I think. And then Canberra will want to play more of a slow it down, grind them out game. So really critical for both teams to come out with this W.
Well, let's take a look at how the finals are shaping up. If you joined us for the earlier game, Melbourne got a big win over Adelaide. So they're 1-0 in their series. And of course, the series between Perth and Caps just about to start here. Obviously, Perth and Melbourne have the home court advantage, Laurie, but finals are a funny thing. Anything can happen in this series, that's for sure.
Well, it is, and we saw how the Lightning just came out and were just emphatic that first half and really put a bit of a scare at Boomers. They really had to regroup in that second half. So in this game today, yes, Perth will want to take a home court advantage, play in front of the Red Army. Canberra have had to travel that distance, and you know, it's both teams' fatigue might play in because this last half of the season they've really traveled a lot, both of them.
It's been certainly an interesting end of the season for both teams, but let's look back to the last time these two teams met. It was the Capitals getting the job done on Perth's home court, 96-80. I memean, Laurie, are you expecting them to do it again? Can the Caps fire up again, do you think?
Well, we have to remember that game, too. They were without Wilson and Bunton. They had a great game plan. They stuck to it. I think Perth were a little flat. They just, you know, Mabry was just coming back. But yeah, that would give the Capitals some great confidence coming into this game, that they know they can win on the road. They know they can win in Perth.
Absolutely. Anything could happen in finals basketball, that's for sure. Of course, Perth, they'll be taking some learnings from the game against the Capitals and looking to get the job done tonight. Elsie Griffin there, she'll look to have a big game as well. But we have someone very special courtside tonight, and that is 4-time NBL champion Greg Heyer joining us for the first time. Greg, welcome to you.
Good evening, ladies. What a beautiful sight we're beginning to see here as the fans begin to fill Bendat Stadium. Only 4 weeks ago, the Perth Lynx faced a formidable task of trying to win a championship all on the road, and now that is not the case, and the Perth Lynx fans have responded in an emphatic manner. The crowd is electrifying the atmosphere. You can hear it. It's pulsating. Guys, this is going to be a highly anticipated matchup, and I cannot wait. So please, buckle in, fasten seatbelts, and enjoy the spectacle. Thanks, guys.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Greg. It's going to be certainly an exciting game. We're going to get into the teams now, Laurie, and we're going to take a look at Perth's list first when it does come up. I suppose, what are you expecting them to do tonight to get the win?
Well, like I said, Perth look the best when they can play a run, loose type of game, get some early shots up in the shot clock, and really they want a high-scoring game. That suits them. That's the sort of game that they want. I think they need to be prepared for Canberra's physicality, because we know that Canberra really bring that, and especially in the final series, so they'll need to be prepared to that. And I'd like to see them share the scoring load around. Don't just rely on Mabry, don't just rely on Young. They've got some talented players. If you look at that starting lineup, talent everywhere, and some great players coming off the bench as well.
100%. We're going to take a look at Canberra's list now, and I suppose, what are you expecting from them tonight?
Well, I think Canberra really need to control the tempo of this game. They need to have an early pickup so that Perth can't get out and run. Stick to their defensive rules, which they did so well last time. And really, they need to come out guns blazing, just like Adelaide did in the first half of the other game.
We're underway here at Perth. Game 1 of this semi-final battle between the Lynx and the Capitals. Jackie Young's had a great second half of the season in the running for the Susie Bakovic medal. Garvin's led the way gallantly all season for the Lynx too. Scherf against Froling. That's going to be a great matchup. Froling starting this one, but Scherf got the better of her first up, and that's a great start for the Lynx.
Sorry, Julia, they do need to look at that. If Froling's going to be guarding Scherf, they have to take advantage of that. She's got a lot of height on her, so get it inside and see if Scherf can finish.
Here's the Caps now for their first scoring chance of the game. Foul's going to be called. Marina Mabry up and about early. She'll need to keep that energy up for the remainder of the game. She's been such an important cog for this Perth offense. So Wilson looks to inbound to Sykes. Also in the running for MVP. Smart. Pull-up jumper is good.
Nice little curl cut on that screen, and a really good catching it in motion and ready to score.
Good dish from Scherf to Garvin, who can finish that off easily. Lauren Scherf's looking the goods early.
Well, I like the Perth's focus is inside. We know what a great perimeter shooting team they are and how there's some players that can really light it up. First 2 baskets have gone inside. Good rebound by Scherf, pulling it in, getting it to her teammates, and we can see Perth running straight away.
Here's Mabry pulling up for that perimeter shot, not going to fall. And Griffin dashes towards the other side of the court. Wilson back to Griffin. The veterans work in tandem.
What a great pass by Kelly Wilson just for with the running Griffin.
Here's Wilson again getting the boards. She's going to take it all the way to the hole. Just couldn't quite get the friendly roll. And Scherf pulls down another board. So Scherf just wanting to find Jackie Young again. Bounce pass was the option. Young, tough finish on Britt Sykes. She's on the board.
3 baskets in the paint.
So Perth 6, the Caps 4. Just getting underway here at Bendat Basketball Centre. Good crowd, as Greg mentioned. They're up and about for their home side. And Whitcomb's able to fend that one out. The Caps can go again here through Wilson. Finds Griffin up top. Didn't pull up. Sykes will, though. Gardner will pull down the boards this time. Mabry's off and running. Guarded by Griffin. Gets around her and gets the tough finish, too.
That's where Canberra have to have an earlier ball pickup. Mabry got the ball. Nobody picked her up until she was almost at the 3-point line. Kelsey Griffin, then, she's just not quick enough.
Here's Griffin now, looking to prove a point to Sykes. Smart on the corner, pulls up for a long 3, and that's her signature.
X marks the spot for Brittany Smart, as X marked the spot for Carly Ernst at the top of the key in the other game.
And there, speaking of X marks the spot, here's Sami Whitcomb to join the party. Perth out to an early lead, 11-7. So the start's going to be crucial for both these teams. Smart couldn't get her 7th point of the game. Now Whitcomb off and running. Garvin wanted to pull up and gets inside all on her own. It just fell apart there for the Caps.
Well, everybody was up and hugging their man. There was no split line defense. Nobody was sagging off their man without the ball.
What can they do on the offensive end? Down by 6. Sykes, good pass to Froling, double teamed. Good hands by Whitcomb, just a foul called though.
You could just see Lauren Scherf lurking there, ready to block that shot if she put it up.
Scherf's been active early. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. So too Whitcomb getting in the way. Froling. Wilson now. Couldn't finish it off, and Perth get the rebound, sorry. Can they get the basket? Here's Mabry. Canberra hugging their opponents very closely tonight, and it works out because Smart gets the steal and Wilson's off and running. She's got to be wary of Young. Gets it off to Sykes, switches hands. Got the body work. Froling, we'll call that a pass. She gets the ball, just couldn't quite scrap it out, and eventually it fell to Griffin.
Great battle by Alicia Froling. Just her, you know, she's not as tall as everybody else in there, but boy, is she tough.
Greg Hires down courtside for us. Greg, over to you.
Yeah, I think we're really seeing a real strong motive of trying to attack the interior. I see the Lynx really seeing that as a matchup they can dominate right now and being aggressive and getting on the foul line. So see that as something that they're going to really focus on in the next few minutes.
Thanks to Greg for joining us courtside. He's won a few championships himself, Greg High with the Perth Wildcats. Knows all about this type of basketball. Perth 13, UC Caps are 7. 5 minutes 12 to go in this first term. Here's Young. Tapeo on the floor for her first minutes tonight. So too Bunton. Caps going to their bench early as Young. Long two is great.
I'm so impressed with Jackie Young in her second half of the season, and her ability just to pull up is just so nice to watch. As is Sykes, exactly the same thing at the other end.
That basket ended a 9-point run there for the Lynx. Let's see what they can do here. Mabry, long three, just missed. She gets her own boards, heads in, and goes to the charity stripe.
Canberra really going to have to take care of business when it comes to blocking out, and you can see Sykes just really didn't get a body, and Mabry was able to step in and get that rebound. You want to make sure if they're going to take a contested shot that they're one and done. They don't get that second chance opportunity.
Crowd getting up and about. Marina Mabry's been a fan favourite this year for the Perth Lynx, averaging nearly 19 points per game. Well, average 19 points per game in the regular season. 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Battled a foot injury, but she's back and firing tonight. Gets both of those to go. So timeout call, Perth 17, UC Capitals 9. A lot of work for the Caps to do, Laurie.
I think it's just a sub out there. They're giving Mabry a much needed rest. And talking to Ryan Petrie, he was saying that the road trip to Sydney and Townsville, and whilst they lost to Townsville, it gave them a really good opportunity to get some runs and minutes into Mabry's legs.
Whitcomb, long three, floats out of bounds. So a few more subs come on. Jade Melbourne injected into the game.
And that's something I made note of for both teams, because they've had the travel at the back end of the season, and then Canberra had to travel from Townsville, or sorry, Perth had to travel from Townsville, Canberra from Canberra to Perth. Both teams I thought would make subs early and get rotations.
Here's the sub on cue, Melbourne! Into the game straight away, exactly what they want from their sub.
It's so great when you can just step on the floor and your first touch is a 3-ball.
So much talent at such a young age. Jade Melbourne nominated for that Betty Watson Youth Player of the Year award. As Scherf goes inboard, just couldn't bank it in.
Kelsey Griffin did a great job of just being there, changing her shot, being a presence inside.
Caps down by 5 at the moment. 3.5 left to play. Here's Tapeo. Dish off to Melbourne for back-to-back threes. Couldn't make it count. Now Young's off and running. Sykes guarding her closely. What a great matchup that'll be. Young will get it back. Scherf putting some body on Bunton. The Young still can't quite get free. It's good D here from the Caps. Perth will get another go at it.
That was good movement by Alex Sharp when it made a post feed to move, to cut, to slash to the basket. Tapeo got a good hand on it, but it was a good off-the-ball movement by Sharp.
Ash Eisenbarger in for her first minutes tonight. Part of the leadership group for the Perth Lynx this year, and she's been standing up in crucial moments as a sub. Young gets to work on Sykes, finds some separation and a basket to go with it.
I agree. Eisenbarger's been really consistent when she comes on the court and what she can give this team.
Young leading the way on the floor with 6 points. Melbourne can get her 5th and does.
She makes that look so easy, Jade Melbourne. Just a nice little floater.
Greg Hires down courtside for us. Greg.
I am absolutely astounded at these incredible women right now. I mean, I've just seen Sami Whitcomb run down the court in emphatic fashion, heaving. There's been no timeouts. The rate of this game is at an incredible pace. Expect the first game of the playoffs for both these teams to slow down. Not much defense being played, which is a spectacle, but I expect it to start slowing down in the next few minutes.
Thanks to Greg. And interesting that there has been no timeouts. Both teams putting their bodies on the line early on.
Certainly an up-tempo game suits Perth better than it does Canberra.
That's why they're down at the moment, 19-14. Sykes wheeling and dealing, pulls up for a long 2. Boards full with Melbourne. Wilson's going to reset here.
She thought about it.
Big block by Eisenberg. I don't think she meant it, but either way, Perth get the stop and they're off and running towards the other side of the court. Young. Now Garvin. Matching up against Bunton. Got the friendly roll.
Just a nice little up fake by Garvin. Just got Bunton just slightly out of the stance and she was able to take her off the dribble comfortably.
Here's Melbourne. She's had a hot start to this game. Can't continue it, but Bunton, good boards and 1. Momentum shifted for the Caps, perhaps.
Nice finish by Alex Bunton. That's what they need from her. They need her in there setting good screens, getting good rebounds, rolling hard to the basket. And you can see there she was she rewarded her team with a great rebound and a nice putback.
Alex Bunton, great year for the Caps. And gets the M1 to go too. And silences the crowd in the process. You can hear a collective sigh. Getting right behind their Lynx tonight. As Chibatoni enters the floor.
It'll be interesting to see how she goes. She's been, you know, isolating with COVID, and sometimes when you come back, it affects everybody in different ways. So I'm sure they'll use her in short spurts in today's game.
Tapea finds herself some space, just couldn't get the roll. Sharp got a whack, and ends up back with the Caps. Wilson guarded by Chibatoni. Out to Bunton. That's Carly Ernst style behaviour.
Isn't it ever? Not a lot of arc on that either, but a nice swish by Alex Bunton.
Good pass from Garvin to Mabry. There's some sort of thing about centers shooting from the top of the three-point line, and we saw Alex Bunton get the screen, got the roll. Look at this. You're right, not much arc, but it works. So the Caps, a good end to this first quarter, now trailing by just 3 points. And Gandini on the floor as well. See Perth using their bench early on.
Mabry has a couple of fouls now with that offensive charge, so she's just going to have to take careful, although we see her subbed out as you would as the coach.
Tapea drains that one, and the Caps are back on level terms.
I like Tapea on this team. I think she brings versatility when she comes on the court. She can guard somebody that's a bit taller than her. She's fairly quick, she's strong, and she can shoot the 3-ball. And she makes good decisions. She's got a great basketball IQ.
Free to shoot for Perth, so Garvin has to pop that one up. And the Caps have to unload quickly. Wilson, no foul called. End of the first quarter. And it's all level, exactly what we expect the final to be. The Lynx 23, the Caps 23. Don't go anywhere. Exciting second quarter coming up right now. Welcome back to Perth. It's scores level at quarter time. After the first period, it was all Perth in the first half of that first quarter. And then the Caps came back in a big way to get it back on level terms. It's pretty much exactly the intensity we expected in finals, Laurie. What did you make of that first quarter?
Yeah, well, I thought the the Capitals did a good job of just sort of sticking around and then making a couple of big threes at the end of that quarter to bring it back level. And it was a pretty frenetic start. Both teams going up and down, and you know, would tire a few of them out. But look, it's what you would expect in a final. We hope it's a close game, and different players are stepping up. Garvin, 8 points, leads everybody at this stage, but a wide spread of scorers for both teams.
And again, Deanie starting on the floor, the Perth Lynx development player. She was the NBL 1 West Defensive Player of the Year, and this game's been pretty much dominated by offense so far, so a bit of defensive presence for the Lynx certainly won't hurt. She's active early. Here's Wilson getting things started here for Canberra in this second period. To Bunton with a hand in her face, couldn't finish it off. Greg Hires down courtside for us. Greg.
It was a very relaxed and calm Ryan Petrick, and as Laurie said, he absolutely loves the pace that they're going at. He just lamented a few second chance opportunities at the end of that first quarter that gifted the Capitals a couple of threes. But right now, he's actually very relaxed and happy with the pace of play that they're going with, and actually encouraged them to pick it up even a little bit more.
Perth certainly picking up the pace now. Here's Garber for back-to-back threes.
I am so pleased for Darcy Garvin. She has not hit the three ball that consistently since her return from Serbia, and before that in Ballarat she was unbelievably consistent in that, so really pleased that she nailed that one. Followed up by Tupea. There we go, we know what a three-point shooter she is. No problem there answering.
So inside was the trend in the first period, and now both teams getting their perimeter shots going.
Yeah, both are shooting the three ball at 50% right now.
So a beautiful release there from Garvin. She's top scorer on the court right now, 11 points. And Tupea getting herself going, 6 points to her name. She's leading the way for the Caps. Here's Scherf now, guarded by Griffin. Whitcomb looking to do some work on Smart. Ended up getting her own sort of rebound and couldn't get that one in. Griffin on hands and knees. Desperation here from the Caps. Wilson. Now Sykes. Griffin needs to get going. Couldn't get that one to drop. Now the Caps will start again. Looks like we'll need to get the shot clock fixed up.
11. Side ball at 11. Yeah, it didn't start on the rebound.
At the moment,
it's okay,
it's
8-17, we'll go 11 on the shot.
Perth up by 3.
Griffin's really only taken one shot. You know, you would think that she needs the ball in her hands a little bit more to, you know, try and make things happen for the Caps.
Alex Sharp comes on for Gandini. 2 Willetton teammates as the Caps put another one down. Whitcomb going to work on Wilson, crossing one way then the other. Eventually it gets back to her. Now Garvin. Shot clock's ticking down here for the Lynx. They've got 5 to shoot. Clever pass, and Sharp couldn't quite knock that one down.
I'm happy to talk to you. Every time you're talking to me so far, you just tell me I'm
Lynx by a point. Wilson bringing it up the floor. Here's Wilson now, getting it off to Smart. She can jack a 3. Too many hands in her face, and now Perth off and running. Want to extend this 1-point lead. Garvin finds herself free. Young wants to go all on her own, but Sykes got in the way in a big way.
2 exceptional imports going head-to-head, and you know, we know that Jackie Young's explosive, but what a great defensive player Sykes is.
Of course, they've had some battles in the WNBA, and now down under, they're having some great battles tonight. Young at the free throw line. Up to 6 points for the game. Still on 6 points for the game. 3 from 3 from the field at the moment. Misses that first free throw.
Jackie Young is averaging 18 points a game. Most of that has come in this second half of the season, where she's just, you know, really put up a lot of great shots and been a prolific scorer for Perth.
See the bench points here, dominated by the Caps, 14. Perth hasn't scored a point off the bench. Tapeo coming off the bench, Melbourne coming off the bench and playing a big role. Perth just haven't had that same impact from their bench sitters as of yet. Game's not over by any stretch. Sharp, she can get the first bench points. There it goes. So that statistic turns, and Perth extend their lead to 4. Here's Smart from the perimeter. Oh my goodness, Britt Smart just letting it rip.
Very timely, that three-point shot, just to bring them back that margin just that little bit closer again.
So the double-digit points now as Young gets in the paint and gets that friendly roll.
Those two are having a great battle. How fun to watch.
Young with 9 points, Sykes with 2, but Sykes has been doing it all on the defensive end. As Smart gets back-to-back buckets.
Well, she's known for her three-point shooting, especially in the corner. But when she comes off of on-ball and a pull-up, she's quite deadly with that, and she's proven that so far tonight.
Here's Whitcomb now, just wanting someone to come at her. Scherf provides a screen for Young, but he ends up getting the ball herself. Griffin, though, better hands. She finds herself on her own, doesn't want to go all the way. So finds Tapeo. So now Smart, back into Griffin, mismatch, but she finds Wilson instead for 3. And the Caps can't get the board.
I'd like to see if there's any, the last play phase down, I didn't think Perth moved very well. They all stood and watched and spectated.
Scherf just looking for someone, found Garvin. And Tapeo with the good hands. She's going to go all the way to the basket here. Good start from Talia Tapeo, and the Caps take the lead.
Good timeout by Ryan Petrie. He really needs to get to regroup. They looked a bit disjointed the last few times down the floor, and you can't let that happen with a great team like Canberra.
See Britt Smart getting going. She's got herself a couple of baskets in this term, and then Talia Tapeo with the steal. She's also got herself a couple of baskets. She's on 8 points, Smart on 12, and both bench players. So Caps up by a point. What do you think?
Like, it's there all night.
What do you think Ryan Petrick is saying? Oh, here we go. We're going to hear it now.
Straight cut, backdoor cut it, get straight to a mid-pick and roll. But the show's got to continue. Again, it's getting gun kicks that keep running the same thing. The single pin downs down there for Smart. Again, our bigs are way too far off down here. Smart has no interest in the keyway. She wants to curl for these long twos, or again, you go under it, she's going to shoot a 3. I want to lock and trail her off and have the big closer to the screening point so she can't curl it. We good? Play. Strong butt.
Well, he did a good job of explaining how Sharp is getting her, or sorry, how Smart is getting her scores, and those long curls off that pin down action, and he really addressed that because he knows she can just take off when she has her eyes in.
Smart leading all scorers at the moment, 12 points. Next best is Garvin with 11. Caps in the lead at the moment. It's been a topsy-turvy game so far at Perth. And Greg Hire was with the Caps. What did Paul Goros have to say, Greg?
Yeah, it was just before the timeout. You could see that the Capitals started being very disruptive up in the lanes, and he wanted more of that. But then on the offensive end, he wanted to really nullify Scherf and attack her with a getting Froling and Wilson in that screen and let them go to work in that regard. But he's really happy with their level of intensity, defensive intensity especially. And we saw that level of frustration called by a talent like the Ryan Petrick.
So with that Scherf basket, Perth back in the lead. Smart, she's having a great second period and a great game overall. So too Wilson, pulls up for a long three, gets her own board, so athletic. He kept it into, not quite actually, so Perth get that stop, and they'll be relieved to get that stop. It's been all with the Caps in the second period. Whitcomb now, guarded by a fellow Opal in Melbourne. Goes to work and finds herself some space in the finish. Wanted the foul as well, but she gets that much-needed basket for the Lynx.
So experienced, Sami Whitcomb, the way she rode that physicality on that drive and was able to still finish.
Can Melbourne get one back on her now? Goes on the left. Can't get that finish. Got her own board, and it's back with the Caps now. Wilson up against Whitcomb this time. Got a slap on the arm and then another slap on the arm, but still the ball stayed with her and eventually just dribbled away. See here the defense by Sami Whitcomb, just active with the hands all the time. Always showing her class and experience.
That's what you want, active hands, active feet. You may not get a steal, but you might just get a little deflection that throws it off and the ball rolls out of bounds, whatever it is. Active hands, active feet.
See Mabry back on the floor with a bit of foul trouble. Goes up against Froling. Couldn't get the tough finish, but Scherf, too tall, couldn't get that finish either. And the Caps look to perhaps draw level. Well, Griffin could go all the way for a two-pointer, not quite. Gets it back. Hands off to Wilson. And this one goes in.
Wow, what a connection those two have. There's been a lot of assists by Kelsey Griffin over the, years of those two playing together, and they just read each other so well.
Mabry, speaking of reading things well, how about that finish? Just almost chucked that in. Perth up by 2. This is a close contest. Griffin now pulls up for 3. Couldn't regain the lead. Here comes Jackie Young now, streaming up the floor. Bench up and about, so they should be. Jackie Young gets another one to fall. Another timeout will be called. Perth 42, the Caps are 38. See Jackie Young with that finish there. Both coaches have a lot of talking to do. It's a close game.
Early pickup, square it off. We're playing too much to the sideline. Get our feet squared off and keep the fuckers in front. Understand? No more running on their side. And we've got to get plug in behind. We can't be on our own one-on-one. We've got to get bodies in behind.
I'm trying to get through, but I need some wall here. Get over to the help line.
Kelsey, Jade, we're going slice. Slim, your pass to get through, dribble hard. You're through, KG. Jado comes, pass, get through. Coming back up, Bunce, you're coming to the high pick and roll. You're coming to the high pick and roll, okay? Here we go. Caps, slice, one play.
Well, Paul Goris was fairly emphatic in his message to his players there. We apologize to anybody, but he made a good point about on their D-trans. They really needed to have early pickup. They need to have a plugger in there, which means somebody in the middle of the court, so it looks like they can't, cut across and penetrate in the middle.
Rich Sykes quite vocal in that timeout as well, wanting some space to feed through. Melbourne doesn't need any of that. Couldn't get the finish though. Here's Young again for a chance at back-to-back buckets for her. Up to 11 for the ball game. She's been having a great game against Sykes as well. A tough opponent by any measure. As Mabry pulls up and gets that one to go. The fireworks go off at Bendat Basketball Centre. As Marina Mabry's up and about.
Mabry now has 9 points, just behind Young and Garvin, who both have 11. So they're, you know, they're spreading the score like we knew they should. Whitcomb's got 8, and that's hard to defend when that happens.
It's the biggest lead of the quarter, Perth. 7-point advantage right now. A sea of red at Perth to watch their Lynx playing their first final since the 2018/19 season. Wickham and Melbourne's been a fascinating matchup. Mabry for back-to-back buckets. How did she get that to finish?
Well, Britt Smart was wearing her like a glove. I'm not sure how she even released that ball.
Here's Sykes now for an instant response. Got her own board. Just couldn't quite get the finish. She can't fault the effort. But now it's Perth up and running. Sykes able to stop Young in her way. Check that out. Mabry just so tough. Somehow finding a chance to even get her arms up, let alone finish the shot. It's now 3 players for Perth sitting on 11 points for the ball game. Just under 90 seconds to play until we reach half-time. A much-needed break for both sides. Up-tempo game. Mabry. She get triple baskets now. Goes around to Paya, pulls up for a long 3. That is fantastic stuff from Marina Mabry.
You just can't even contemplate going under the screen with Mabry. She is going to shoot that every single time. Even if she doesn't have the time or space, she's going to shoot it.
And Griffin gets the crucial and 1. Just when you thought the momentum was slipping away from the Caps, Kelsey Griffin steps up after having a quiet game so far. But let's take a look at this from Marina Mabry. She scored 8 points in a matter of pretty much seconds, just under a minute. And now Griffin getting herself into the game. That's just her 4th point for the game. And now up to 5.
They need to come up with a good stop, the Caps, and then get another look at the basket before the end of the half.
Mabry, Sykes guarding her this time. Young. Won't count.
A little bit of an offensive screen from Lauren Scherf as Young was coming around on that curl. The ref has said that she's just stuck her knee out a little bit and called it an offensive foul.
So a matter of seconds now for the Caps to get within touching distance as we approach half-time. 3 would be big here. Tupea's known for shooting those, but this time hands it off to Griffin. Back to Tupea. Goes in for the long 2. Just can't get the friendly rattle. And Perth will look to have the last say in this one through Whitcomb. Garvin. Back to Whitcomb.
Look at Kelsey Griffin face guarding Mabry.
And Whitcomb just releases, but there's going to be a foul called. That's a coach killer. Whitcomb off to the line for 3 shots. See Melbourne just getting that hand in. So Whitcomb having another fantastic game. Sykes went in too early. Perth up by 10. 3 seconds left until we get to half-time. I think Canberra will just let this one play out naturally. Sykes, one last hurrah. It looks pretty good, but just finishes off. A great first half at Perth. It's exactly what we expected. It's finals-paced basketball. It's Perth 52, the Caps 41 at the main break. Top scorers so far. Mabry got herself up to 14. Young and Garvin with 11, and then for the Caps, Britt Smart leading the way with 12. Laurie, some quick thoughts from you on the first half.
Well, I think that Perth settled into this game like we said, it was very frenetic to begin with, tied at the quarter, and then I think Perth just made some really good decisions, reading the defense, what they were giving them. They still pushed the ball, and that took the pace, took the pace off of Canberra being able to get any sort of run or that themselves.
Greg Hires down courtside with one of the stars of the show, Marina Mabry. Greg, it's over to you.
Marina, 14 points at the half. It seemed like you had a super aggressive mindset. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, like, playoffs come. I got to ramp up the energy for my team. I've been out for a while with an injury, slowly coming back, and now I feel like it's time to just hit the gas and go. Kind of help the team get that push of energy and, like, really play my hardest. We have the top 6 games left.
Cream rise to the top, and that's definitely the case for yourself. How do you feel out there in the second half?
I mean, we only have the present moment, so like whatever happened in the first half happened in the first half. So take it one play at a time, and if you want to win more than the other team, hopefully you come out on top.
Fantastic. Good luck for the second half. Thanks, Marina. Thanks, guys. Over to you.
Thanks to Greg and Marina Mabry for that. Let's look at the match stats so far, Laurie, and the big difference so far to me looks like field goal percentage.
Well, field goal percentage, and especially three-pointers, 5 from 9 at 56%. And they started out, their focus was inside, and then they were able to sort of get their groove, get into the game, and then really started hitting those three-pointers in that second quarter. Rebound count, Lynx are right up there, 23-16. Capitals are taking care of the ball really well, only 2 turnovers, so they'll want to continue to do that the next half.
It's going to be crucial in the next half to see who gets the win in game 1 of the semi-final battle. We're going to take a look at some match highlights of the first half now, Laurie, and it's been a really up-tempo and fast-intensity game so far.
Well, it is, and we knew that would suit Perth much better than it suits Canberra, and I'm surprised that Canberra haven't maybe tried to slow it down a little bit more, grind it out, rely on, they're one of the best defensive teams in the competition, just behind Melbourne and Adelaide. So, that style we said doesn't suit them, and you can see how it's Perth want to run. They want to get early shots in the shot clock. They've got great shooters. They've got an inside presence right now, so they would be feeling really good about themselves.
Marina Mabry got herself going in that second period. She's now the top scorer for the game with 14 points. The Lynx fans are happy. They're up and about because their team's up and about. They lead at halftime, 52-41. Don't go into it. We're going to do a deep dive on Sami Whitcomb and her impact on the Lynx straight after this.
Hi, I'm Sami Whitcomb. I play for the Perth Lynx.
Sami, welcome to WNBL Finals. Made it. Regular season is done after delayed starts, hubs, postponed games. You could almost say that Perth Lynx exceeded expectations, overcoming all the adversity.
Yeah, I think we were up against a lot, particularly early, having to, you know, pack up and move to the east. And then obviously then it was extended and sort of without really a timetable at that stage. So yeah, lots of things, but you know, every team has faced some kind of adversity, whether it's actually getting COVID or having to break because of it, games changed, all of that. So I'm proud of this group's resilience. You know, we've dropped some that we shouldn't have dropped along the way and, you know, haven't been our best the whole time. But I think ultimately, you know, we've persevered and we've, I think, been able to kind of grow a bond, you know, and be really close because of it.
So putting aside regular season, it's almost like a clean slate with this top four. There's no clear outlier. What are you anticipating for this final series?
Yeah, I mean, the top four, really, really tough. And I think probably pretty close to the top four that most people would have picked coming in. But you're right, like it's sort of fluctuated. There was a time where, you know, every team probably in that top four was sitting at 1 or sitting at 4, and there's only a few games to kind of separate the group. So it's tough. Every team has a couple of just studs and then really great role players. Everyone plays their role. They play really well together. So I think it is going to come down to 1, staying healthy as it always does, and 2, you know, really who wants it the most, who locks in on, you know, scout the best and takes away teams' options, you know, A and B, and makes people play to their third option. And I think, you know, defense and rebounding, as always, comes into that. If you can defend, if you can rebound, it's going to make it really hard on the other team.
That was Sami Whitcomb there talking about the lead up to finals, and she's having a good performance so far, 10 points and 6 rebounds. I'll bring Laurie Chiswick back into the conversation because, Laurie, I want to know, how important is she to Perth's finals push?
Oh, look, she's vitally important. And I said this right when, you know, I was asked way back when to tip who was going to win. And I tipped Melbourne and I said, but if they sign Sami Whitcomb, then Perth will be right up there because she is so important to the team. And it's not only her scoring but she reads the game. She's got an amazing basketball IQ, and she is a real leader on and off the court.
She wasn't even originally supposed to play in Perth. She was meant to play in France before the season even commenced, and she's faced a lot of adversity, of course, being away from her partner and her son for a chunk of time. Got used to the Ballarat life, but wanted to be back at home. I mean, how inspirational has it been to see her push through all that and still be in the form she's in?
Oh, well, I think it's, you know, everybody, as she said, has had challenges, and every team has had challenges. And, you know, Perth's challenges were unique in that they didn't start for the first month. Then they were, you know, housed in Ballarat, and they did really well there and shot the ball really well. So I think that's, you know, and she's a professional athlete. She's played all over the world, the WNBA for the Opals and that. So it's something that, yes, you might not like it, but as a professional athlete, you just have to somehow find a way and get through it. And certainly she did, and the Perth Lynx did.
Absolutely. Well, the WNBL awards were announced during the week, and we're going to have a staggered set of announcement dates for these awards. As you can see, Youth Player of the Year is being announced tomorrow. Then we've got the Defensive Player of the Year on Monday. Sixth Woman of the Year is on Tuesday, as is the Coach of the Year. And then the MVP, the all-important MVP, on Friday the 1st, April Fool's Day, and then all WNBL first and second team on the Monday. And as we see here, the Youth Player of the Year, this is being announced tomorrow. We've got Jade Melbourne, Ezzy Bagbagor, Katie Deeble, Shyla Hill, and Sam Simons all nominated. Laurie, who do you think are the front runners from that list of 5?
Well, I think it's important to know, or that people know, that the youth player is under 23. So it's not necessarily just it's your first year in the league, or that it's an under 23 award. So if you look at that list of players, I mean, really impressive. And I think you can't go past Ezzy Bagbagor as a front runner for this. You know, she's scoring 16 points, which is 8th. Offensive rebounds, she's first in blocks, first in 2-point percentage and field goals. So she's having a wonderful season. But the likes of Shyla, you know, Shyla's led the Sydney Flames. She's 7th in assists. She shoots the ball at a really good percentage. So, you know, the players that have been put forward, Katie Deeble, I've loved what I've seen from her when she comes out on the court and what she does for the Sydney Flames. And she, you know, she got the opportunities later when they had some injuries. So it's a great award. And
Right now, Perth had the better of them. And Young up against Sykes. Wants to give and go to Garvin. She'll get it back here, Young. Now Mabry finishing off a hot start to a hot finish, sorry, I should say, to the second quarter. Just couldn't get that one to drop. Now Sykes, she's just had the 2 points, sorry, for the game. She's been a pest on the defensive end though, but we want to get going. Finds Smart instead, who's been getting going herself, that's for sure. 12 points for her. Griffin, step back 2, just can't roll in.
You can see how Perth are, and I'm not sure if it's for all the players, but in that last instance they're forcing the player, the offensive player with the ball, away from the screen so that they can't use the screen. And they've got their defensive rotations based around that.
Wilson gets it over to Griffin. Those two have been working in tandem beautifully this game. And every game, really. Smart. Baseline drive. Went up against Scherf. Bad idea. Scherf with the block. Big mismatch there. And Young's off and running. Whitcomb from the corner. That's the start that Perth wanted in the second half.
That is just classic Perth, classic Sami Whitcomb. Push the ball, drive it in. Sammy's there to shoot it. It's pretty much money.
Perth 60% from three-point range. As Griffin gets one back. A long 2 there for Kelsey Griffin, but either way, scores on the board for her. She's up to 5 for the game. Young again, off to Mabry. All their big guns starting on the floor. And foul's called. And a good matchup between Froling and Scherf, and Whitcomb just found herself in some space there. Let's just count that. So too did Griffin. Froling takes an early seat. A bit of foul trouble.
So hard for her to have to battle against, you know, the likes of Lauren Scherf out there or Darcy Garvin. She gives away a lot of centimeters, and you know, I always like the way both the Froling girls they battle hard as undersized players and do a great job.
Griffin pulls down the board for the Caps. Back-to-back buckets on the card here. Tupea just loses the handle, and Young can get herself up and running once again. Mabry, long three, can't finish. Garvin, good offensive board and good offensive finish as well. Off the bank, never looked like missing.
Bit of a danger time for Canberra right now. They don't want Perth to really stretch out this lead too much further, because hard to reel in. Great drive by Kelsey Griffin, great finish, physicality, absorbed that bump on the way to the basket.
Griffin's got all the points for the Caps so far in this third period. She's up to 9 for the ball game. Also has 5 rebounds as Kelsey Griffin. Scherf has a few herself and now gets herself a bucket. So hard to stop, as Laurie mentioned, Lauren Scherf.
Well, when she rolls hard to the basket, and if they happen to be switching on her, then there's going to be a mismatch every single time.
Here's Griffin now. She's having a good start to the quarter, just couldn't finish that one off. And now Mabry, speaking of having good starts, just couldn't get that to go. Cap stop. Mabry and Young have been working in tandem all game. Perth 59, Caps 45. Back-to-back buckets to start this third period from both teams. Sykes. Can't find many options at the moment. Kicks it to Wilson. Free to shoot for Kelly Wilson. She's got a fire. Griffin will instead. Won't count. Either way, Perth get the boards. Mabry crosses over Wilson. Bumps into Griffin. And she'll go to the charity stripe. So hard to get past Kelly Wilson, but Mabry did it successfully.
She did a nice little inside-outside move that saw her go right by.
So Mabry 14 points from the game. She's 100% from the line so far as well. Hope I haven't jinxed her. Let's see how she goes in the second one.
Of course she did. Yeah,
Why do I even bother saying it sometimes?
What do you expect?
Sorry to the Lynx. Sykes just lost her footing. Jump ball. Sykes having a bit of a tough time tonight, still stuck on 2 points. She's lost her headband as well. Nearly threaded that needle past Mabry, but just lost her footing right at the wrong moment. Greg High is down courtside for us. Greg, over to you.
Well, we've just seen a little bit of emotion there between Sykes and Mabry, but I've been really impressed by Mabry's physicality in this third quarter, really setting tone. She's maybe not known for her defensive prowess, but we're really seeing her set standards and what the other Lynx players really need to expect to do.
Talia Tupea hits a massive 3 for the Caps. Just cuts that lead ever so slightly. Sharp on the floor. Over to Chibatoni, also injected. Gives it into Garvin, up against Sykes. It was good D by Sykes.
It was good D. When Garvin put it over her head, she just jammed up and then she had nowhere to go.
Griffin, back to Sykes. They're working together. Good D by Garvin, straight up. And Chibatoni's off to the races. Sharp from the corner, all on her own. Can't land the three. Wilson's going to sprint down, try and get herself a basket. Off to Bunting instead.
Gee, Brittany Sykes took a long time to get up the court and get involved in offense.
Here she is now. What can she do? Dishes off to Griffin. Whitcomb could pull that one down.
Right now, it looks to me like fatigue is setting in for Canberra. On that shot, nobody went in after the O-boards.
Still dominating on bench points, but trailing overall by 12. And Sykes, again, just happy to walk it down. Fatigue really is starting to set in. Wilson, though, feeling none of that, just couldn't quite jack the three. And Perth have found their legs once again. Young, and one!
So exactly what Perth want to do. They wanted to push that ball and attack the rim early in that shot clock.
Players will head to the bench now for a spell. And the coaches sensed the fatigue as well. Needed a bit of a rest. There was no timeout in the first period, of course. So they've been on their feet for the majority of the game. Perth 62, Canberra 48. Maybe still leading all comers with 15.
Defense is really good. Just be aware again, their adjustment on baseline out of bounds playing zone is just pop to pay. Know where Tapaya is, know where Smart is. Don't really care about the rest too much. Hey, in these strong, and again, we're doing a much better job running strong four. Now got to clean it up. So again, we get these staggers. If I'm going to reject it, that's fine. Get all the way out. That low girl's got to get almost lane line. And the elbow girl's got to get back to split line. So whoever the guard is has got someone to turn. That second screen right now is here. It's too far. Let's go. Fist one right here.
It's nice when you have a timeout and you can fine-tune something. You're not talking about, you know, we're lacking in this and we've got to get this done or whatever it is. That was really, he's happy with them, but you know, just now going, okay, we just need to tweak this, fine-tune this, become a little bit better at this.
And how about the comment? Look out for Tapaya, look out for Smart, don't worry about the rest.
Yeah, well, I think that's on the out-of-bounds play that he was talking about specifically.
Greg High was with the Caps at that timeout. Greg, what did Paul Goris have to say?
Yeah, he was imploring his troops to really push the pace. I know that's going to be tough because you can see fatigue really setting in there, but he was talking and speaking about if they bring down and walk down the clock, they're only going to have 10 seconds to have an opportunity to shoot. So he was really urging his team to really push the pace and start setting the tone on the offensive end.
Let's see what they do here in this offensive set. Melbourne, she's really good at setting the tone. Gives it off to Tapaya. Griffin 2 to shoot. Tough finish. That's classic Kelsey Griffin. Delivering on Paul Goris's message. That timeout. Young now wants an instant response. Chibatoni from the corner.
That's an example of what I was talking about with Tapaya, how she can defend those quicker guards and then use her strength to block out and get a great rebound. She did a fantastic job of defending Jackie Young there.
Here she is again, getting the pass off to Wilson. Just couldn't quite bank that one in. Ball's still up for grabs. Wilson somehow got that one. Hand over to Griffin. And Perth are off and running. See Whitcomb very vocal on the bench. Young gets to work. Bucket won't count. Jackie Young up to 3 points for this third period. Perth up by 13. See her field goal percentage has been excellent, 86%. She's only missed one field goal for the night. And she's worked hard and will take a well-deserved rest. Sitting on the bench alongside Garvin as well. Zamanga gets some minutes in this second half. Pass was too hot for Scherf, and now the Caps get to go again. Back-to-back baskets on the cards if they can be clean with this set. Wilson, now Griffin. Here's Melbourne for a long three. Jacks that one. You want increased intensity, you turn to Jade Melbourne. Here she is now guarding Mabry very closely. Mabry gets herself a separation though and gets the finish. Griffin to Tapea. Pull up two is good. Caps edging back this one ever so slightly. They cut the margin back to 10. Got to watch their fouls though. Nearly in the bonus.
Wow.
Mabry once again, turn and finish.
And that's what Ryan Petrie was talking about to me, was that, you know, the longer, the more she plays now since her injury, the more runs she gets on the board, the easier it is she's going to find to sort of score and get back to what we saw when the season first started.
Zamanga with the hands. Look at this bench statistic. 65 of 67s. 65 of Perth's 67 points have been scored by their starters. But you can see here the Caps bench just getting to work. Just shows how much of a role Perth starters play in this team. Wilson has to get it off quickly. Shot clock ticking down. Bunton just gets it up in time. The Perth will get the stop. Good defense.
I think that was a foul just on the shot clock, just as it went off, and Bunton put the shot up that she got fouled.
You're not loving that if you're Ryan Petrick. Bunton can't get the first on the drop. She's got 3 points for the game to go with 3 rebounds. And can't add to her points tally with those 2 free throws. Of course, Alex Bunton didn't suit up the last time these two teams met in Perth. And it was the Caps still getting it done, 96-80. No Callie Wilson either on that occasion. And the Caps get another stop.
I'd like to see Perth, you know, they've been shooting the ball well from outside, so of course you want to keep going there, but Lauren Scherf is working pretty hard every time down the court, and they're, you know, really not looking at her at all, and I think, again, you want to make sure that you reward a big if they're going to really try and use their body and get position, and you know, so that you've got a spread of inside-outside as well, because that's where they went early on to Garvin and to Scherf, and we really haven't sort of seen them at the offensive end have much of an impact so far this second half.
Under a minute here in this third period. Caps trailing by 12. Wilson reduces it to 10. Good scoop finish.
Caps are hanging around. You know, you get this under 10 and it's still sort of anybody's opportunity.
Here's Scherf. You've been asking for it, Laurie, and she delivers.
I think she must have heard me.
She's been working hard all game, and her teammates found her on that occasion.
Alex Bunton went to help on the drive and then kick it back to Scherf, and on the closeout she attacked her. Really smart basketball.
She gets herself the M1 to go. Up to 9 for the game, Lauren Scherf. Caps double teamed.
Oh, they were lucky to get out of that. That was a perfect trap right in the right spot. Right over halfway line, right up at the sideline.
Rare error from Callie Wilson at crunch time of the third period. 20 seconds to play. It gives Perth an opportunity to have the last say. 70-57 the scoreline at the moment. Young guarded by Melbourne. Melbourne hits the deck hard. Sort of just tripped there, but I think the foul was called. She's going to hobble off to the bench. Oh, she might even stay on. She's that sort of tough cookie, Jade Melbourne. Just 9 seconds to play left in the third period. Sapaya's got 4 to shoot, drives inboard. Bunton couldn't get the finish. She's got another go at it and gets the friendly roll. Are they going to count it? I don't think so.
I'd say by her facial expression, I don't think they did count it.
So 70 to
everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. Until we dunk, hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
FIBA's flagship competition is heading to Australia in September. Over 10 action-packed days at Sydney Olympic Park. 12 powerhouse basketball nations will battle it out for the world title. For more information and to snap your tickets, they are on sale. Visit womensworldcup.basketball. I can't wait to see who gets that final Opals caller come September. But right now, the players are putting it all on the line for this first game of the semi-final. It's Perth who are the ascendancy so far. Eisenbarger can get them off to a perfect start, and she does.
And the Perth fans love that. That's the way you want to come out at the start of a quarter. Make a statement.
One of the locals in Perth, Brian Petrick's made a statement in recruiting local players. Sykes couldn't get that one to finish. Greg Hyers down courtside for us. We saw Jade Melbourne hobbling off. Greg, how is she?
Yeah, well, she's as tough as she comes. If you could bottle up what she's got inside of her, you'd make up to gazillions. But right now, she's hopping along on one leg, trying to get rid of a corky. I reckon, depending on what this margin blows out to, or if it comes in close, we might not see Jade enter back into the lineup. But you commend her. She's an incredible athlete, that's for sure.
You can see her bouncing up and down the sideline. She's really wanted to get back into this one. She's got 8 points for the game. She's been vital for the Caps off the bench.
Very true, though, Greg, because you have to think that they've got, you know, potentially 2 more games, certainly 1 more game that they've got to win if they happen to lose this game. So you do have to keep that in mind as well.
Mabry, long 3. Whitcomb pulled down the board. Garvin just wrestles it back. Good hustle by the Lynx. Young finds herself some space and gets the bucket.
Paul Corus was pretty sure that Whitcomb stepped on the end line. He's trying to pass that information on to the refs.
Sykes dish off to Griffin. It was a clever attempt at the basket for Perth. ends up heading to the other side of the court. Paul Goros still vocal there on the sidelines, trying to get his team up and about. Garvin, step back two, no good. And Wilson's on the run. See, Perth have got the better of them on the field. 64%. Been brilliant all game. And Bunton can't change fortunes. Perth bench up and about. So too is the crowd. So Eisenbarger inbounds now for the Lynx. Good to see her starting in this fourth period and jacking up a three straight away. What could she do with the ball this time? Gives it off to Garvin, who can get a three on her own. Griffin pulled down that board.
That's Kelsey Griffin's 9th rebound of the night. She's working so hard out there. 11 points, 9 rebounds.
Looking at double-doubles, Whitcomb has herself one, 13 points and 10 rebounds. Griffin on the verge of one herself. Big numbers all over the floor as Tupea gives it off to Griffin. And she gets that double-double now. Whitcomb. Dish off to Garvin. Maybe got some body work. And got the block from Griffin. Kelsey Griffin stepping up in this fourth period. Sykes gets herself into the game. Momentum back on the Cap side for the time being. 75-61, 3 minutes played in the fourth period.
And you could see just as that bucket, as the ball went through the rim, Ryan Petrick called a timeout straight away. He thought, no way is this momentum swing. We can't let it go any further. Timeout to regroup with his players.
That was just Sykes' 4th point of the game. Let's see what Paul Goros has to say.
That's more. It's all good. Breathe. Again, defensively, I want to say in the Blues, they've gone smaller, so that's fine. If the guard comes off and is way too aggressive, it's deep at the rim, we'll switch it. But again, I want to try and stay in the paint as much as we can. Just be aware, again, ride with the shooters because we have a wall behind. Love that all night long, hence their field goal percentage is really low. Offensively, right here, I want side horns. Side horns. Yep, so come off Darcy, it'll get Loz in the post against Griffin, she'll get 2 bites of the cherry. Let's go.
Hearing from Ryan Petrick there from the Perth Lynx. Wanting to halt that momentum from the Caps. Back-to-back buckets for them. Griffin and Sykes, they're 2 big guns getting involved in this game. Margin out to 14 points. Plenty of time left in this game. The Caps have all the momentum at the moment. Perth will want to stop it here with this offensive play. Scherf all on her own. Reverse, can't finish, gets her own board momentarily. And then got it stripped. Britt Smart on the floor for the Caps. That's a good sub. Scherf's been getting herself in some good spots throughout the game. 9 points and 6 rebounds for her.
Well, she'll be disappointed in that. I thought she could have just gone straight up rather than trying to do a reverse. Keep it simple.
Tupea and Wilson share the ball. And now Griffin couldn't quite get the finish. Mabry diving for that board. Up against Smart. Finds Young. Goes to work on Tupea. Crossover. Can't finish. Here comes Kelly Wilson. To Sykes. 3 called. Long 2, actually. Just 1 foot on the line there. Either way, Canberra cut that margin back ever so slightly. Scherf this time can land herself a 3, and that'll hurt the Caps. Scherf kept it simple that time. So too did Sykes, just couldn't get the finish. Whitcomb now. Against Smart. Spins her inside out, gets to the bucket, foul called on the way in. Just finds herself a paddock of space somehow. Sami Whitcomb.
She really wanted to make that an and one. You love the competitiveness and the fierceness and you know, the perfection that she wants to play with.
Marina Mabry coming off for a rest. 19 points for her for the ball game.
You see Jade Melbourne in the background still bouncing off that injury, and I'll be surprised if we see her back on the court.
Of course, the Caps back in Canberra to host Game 2 this weekend. And they want to host a third game as well, if the result pans out the way it's going. Perth 80, the Caps 63, nearly halfway through the fourth period.
Perth would be happy with their defensive effort this second half, especially. You know, they, on average during the season, they hold teams to 77 points. So 63 right now is you'd think that they would be lower than that 77 average.
Caps, though, having scoring troubles. 50 and then 55 coming into this game. Now 63. Good look ahead pass to Sharp. Gets it back into Garvin, but just trails away from her. Garvin having herself a good game, though. 13 points, 63% from the field for the Perth skipper. 8 rebounds to go with it as well. She's in double-double watch.
One thing that's a little bit concerning for Canberra is that they've only been to the foul line 4 times, so they're 2 from 4 right now. They just haven't been able to put pressure on the rim and get themselves to the foul line.
Garvin from the corner, drains it. Margin back out to 20. Sykes up against Scherf, gets the elevation and gets the finish.
Well, we know Garvin can shoot the 3 ball. She shoots it at around 40%, so she just hasn't, you know, been doing it lately. But I'm loving the fact that she's found some shooting range right now.
Wilson now getting to work over to Sykes. One of the long 3. Oh, no look pass to Griffin. That was so clever by Kelly Wilson. Let's get out to Greg Ho, who's courtside for us.
Well, they say great minds think alike, Laurie, and it's exactly what I thought. In this second half, we've seen the interior focus of Capitals really dry up, whether that's because the margin started to extend and so they started to focus on perimeter. But unfortunately, now we're seeing this margin really extrapolate currently.
That Whitcomb 3 will hurt the Caps. That was a big bucket from Griffin, and then Whitcomb responding in a big way. Let's take a look. Wilson, no look pass.
And that brings Kelly Wilson up to her 6th assist for the game.
And Whitcomb knocking one down.
Scoreboard. We've got to execute and get through plays, okay? We want to stick with now T. You're at the 4. This is T. This is B Smart. This is Bunce. This is Slim. This is Abby. Here, be smart. We're going away, okay? Be smart. Come hard off it. T, if you pop back, okay? Now we've got Bunce, okay? Slim, Bunce. Go get Slim again and then dive hard, okay? So we got the handoff with T and be smart, okay? You drag it out of there, okay? If not, then we're coming. You start at the top. You pinch it. You're going to be the first screener. Bunce is the second screener. So stay in away, okay? Here we go.
Did you notice right at the beginning you heard Paul Goris say, don't look at the scoreboard? So I think now it's a matter of they wanted, he talked about executing what they have. So, you know, already you have to have that mindset, okay, we're probably not going to win this game, but we still need to get something out of this last, you know, three and a half minutes and be able to, you know, have a look at what's working and what's not for us.
Back at home for game 2 at Tuggeranong Stadium. Smart jacks up a long 3. That's some execution. Good Smart's threes and what's working for the Caps as they inject some bench players into the game. Abby Cabillo on for her first minutes. Gets knocked down by Mabry Fierce.
Yeah, there was nowhere to hide there. She was right in the middle of the court when that foul, and she came and just shouldered her there. But interestingly how Perth have stuck with their starting lineup when it's this margin. Know they have a game, have to travel back to Canberra.
Smart. Over to Tapea. Elbow jumper is good. So Caps executing on the back of that timeout. Whitcomb shovels it out to Mabry. And Mabry tries to burrow her way through Smart's body there. Got the separation, just couldn't get the finish. Sykes over to Smart, back-to-back threes. You betcha.
Well, you'd have to be happy if you were Paul Goris out of that timeout. Consecutive baskets, consecutive stops. That's exactly what they'd want at the end of this game. And to be honest, it's 11 points.
Can I look at the scoreboard now, do you think?
No, don't look at it. It's better when you don't look at it.
86-75 is what the scoreboard reads at the moment. 3 baskets in a row for the Capitals, 2 threes for Britt Smart.
We can see Jade Melbourne has that,
first leg,
that
it's
left
not
leg.
wheel.
But let's listen to Paul Goris.
Screen in. We're looking at that to get that to Abby, okay? So now we're looking at Be Smart like there. If not, Bunce, you'll be free on the post-up. Deep seal, so as soon as she goes off you, if they're setting in, you step in. We got that. If not, we got the punch in right to Bunce. Here we go, on the D again. Caps, good job, Dad.
I like how he refers to Brittany Smart as when he's talking about it.
Be smart.
Be smart.
I love the nickname. I think because their Instagram handle is Be Smart Basketball, that might be it. Either way, equation is just over 2 minutes, 11 points.
Well, Be Smart leads her team with 18 points right now.
Sykes hits the deck, allows Shirk to have a shot, but just couldn't get the finish. And the Caps are off again. They can get this margin down to single digits with 2 minutes to play.
This is the sort of baskets that Shirk has to make. I mean, that's just a concentration thing. She was wide open. She'd done all the hard work first, got good positioning.
She'll get another go at it here as Perth look to advance up the floor. Cabillo's got the tough task on Mabry. Just reaches in. Really good for Abby Cabillo to get these minutes on Mabry. 1, potentially 2 games left in the series. They need all their players stepping up as Mabry takes a seat. $19 points, 3 rebounds to her. Sami Whitcomb, ball in hand. She's up to a double-double. 18 points, 10 rebounds. Make that 20 and 11 rebounds. She can do it all, Sami Whitcomb. Here's Be Smart. We're going to roll with that nickname too, I reckon, Laurie. As Young and Tupeo battle it out in the paint.
Well, Smart was certainly cutting hard along that baseline and using 2 screens to come off of that.
13-point Lynx lead. Chibatoni up against Tupeo. Caps are in foul mode now, just not letting Perth getting any easy baskets.
Well, certainly they've fought it out at least, Canberra. I mean, this could have blown out to a 25-point game, and they've kept it, you know, to a reasonable margin so that...
There's the finish that Shirk wants.
That's the finish, the concentration, go up strong, and an and one.
It's been that sort of game for Lauren Shirk. She's missed some easy ones, but she's got some tough finishes as well. 14 points for her to go with 8 rebounds and 2 assists. Lauren Shirk takes the seat. Greg Hires courtside for us. Greg, over to you.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better feeling than seeing a local contingent rock up on the court, and that's what just happened with Perth Lynx emptying out their bench. This place and the roof could go absolutely crazy if one of their young DPs or Perth locals score here.
So 5 Perth locals on the floor. Burrows for Rockingham, Clark, Lakeside, Finch, Hoycard, Warwick, and here's Clark, couldn't get the finish. And Deanie Willardson and Eisenbarger also with Lakeside. Smart, long 3, no good. Cabillo looking to drive hard to the basket. We'll go to the line. So good intent there by Abby Cabillo. She'll aim to get her first points of the game. So 91-77, 27 seconds left to play. What can these Perth locals do to get the crowd even more up and about? Eisenbarger wants to find Burrows again. Seconds to shoot here for Perth. Burrows goes to work against Swain. Dish out to no one in particular, goes out of bounds. So game 1 will go to the Perth Lynx. It's been a clinical display. The Caps, to their credit, fought right to the end. They can take a lot of credit out of their bench points, 28-5. Clark gets the foul call.
No fairy tale ending for the crowd. Still, they'd be very, very happy with the result and the performance that their home team has put on display tonight.
So that's the end of game 1 of this semi-final battle. The Perth take the win, 91-77, a 14-point margin at the end of the game. It was 23 apiece at the end of the first quarter. Then Perth 52-41 at halftime, 70-57 at three-quarter time, and now finish with 91-77 the way of the Caps. Laurie, some thoughts from you on that game. How do you think Perth performed?
Oh, look, I think they'd have to be very happy with it. 91 points. You know, that's their trademark, high-scoring games. They average 83, so 91 is good. They had a range of scorers, which I think was really important for them. So, you know, Sami Whitcomb led the way with 20 points, and so it was a contribution by a lot of players. And when that happens, how do you defend that? So much better than say a Jackie Young going off for you know 30 points herself. So a real team effort. They chipped away, and yeah, they'd be really happy with it as players and as the coaching staff.
And what can the Caps take out of this game?
Well, I think the Capitals, you know, I think Paul Goris asked of them, you know, they said it out. Greg said it after a timeout, you know, you got to give me a little bit more. You can't walk the ball up the floor. And I thought they responded really well to that. They got some stops, they got some baskets, and they kept this margin down. Like we said, it was heading for a 30-point game, and they just chipped away at it and right to the end. You know, I give them credit right to the end, and a 14-point margin. They go back home. They make some adjustments. They sleep in their own beds for a few nights, and it could be a different ball game come Sunday afternoon.
Well, one player that played a big part for the Caps was Britt Smart. She's been good enough to join Greg on the sideline. She had 18 points for the game. Greg, it's over to you.
Yeah, you're completely right. A real shining star for the Capitals tonight. You've got to love Brittany Smart's attitude. You got to take a little bit of confidence coming towards the end of the game, firing up a few threes.
Yeah, I mean, that's my role, and I can't hesitate on that. Perth did a good job on defense for us this game, but, you know, I do know my role and what I need to do for the team, and I just got to let them fly. So work too hard not to shoot.
Absolutely. A formidable opponent. What sort of do you take back into game two, heading back into Canberra?
Well, recovery. It's all going to be like who recovers, you know, well. We'll take our home crowd energy for sure. I do think, you know, Perth had a great game, but I think some of it was just some things that we can do on our end. Just a few tweaks, a few little adjustments, and I think we can really bounce back.
And what do you think Paul Goris's message will be after the Tennis game?
You know, I'm not sure, but for us, I think Perth was able to take us out of our flow. We were a bit stagnant, maybe a bit slow with how the ball moves or how we moved on offense. I think we need a bit more speed as far as like cutting hard. You always cut hard whether you're going to get the ball or not. Setting screens hard. Just little things are in our control. I think that's what he's going to focus on, is what we can do to make ourselves better and compete.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for game two, and fantastic game tonight. Thanks, mate.
Appreciate it.
Thanks to Greg Carr, and thanks to three. She finished the game with 20 points and 11 rebounds. Greg High is down courtside with her now.
Well, I can tick this off the bucket list. Opal's captain right next to me, putting a little bit of sweat on myself. At 20 and 11, as you just said, Julia, what do you take from that game?
Oh, just how important rebounding is, defense for sure. You stole my line, by the way. But yeah, for sure, like the first time we played them, they outworked us, and it was really important for us to set the tone, to be physical, and I thought we did that.
You expect a tough matchup heading back into Canberra. What's the mindset heading into that game now?
I mean, we have to come in with the same mindset. We want to put it away there. We can't be thinking we have a game up now. It's got to be 0-0 still. It's going to be a massive battle, but for us, we really, really want that game too.
And talk to me about that rebounding battle, because I saw you holding Lauren Scherf accountable. Is that something you guys pride yourself on?
Yeah, I mean, for all of us, it's not just her, but she's big, and we really rely on her for that. Not only just to get the boards, but she has a really tough job in keeping some of their best rebounders off the glass. So she has to do that. She has to hit, and then we got to come in and help her out. But for sure, we have to do that, because if we're not doing that, every single time they got the second opportunity, they scored.
Well, good luck for game two. I hope you'll be an absolute superstar, and thank you for notching that on the bucket list. Thanks, mate.
Good to see Greg High ticking off his bucket list there. As we take a look at the match highlights, it was really the Sami Whitcomb show, wasn't it, Laurie?
Well, you know, she did a lot of things. You know, we talked about at one stage she was close to a double-double.
players today. And the first one we're going to talk about is Darcy Garvin. She had a real captain's game for the Lynx today. Really stood up with 16 points in the end, Glory. What did you make of her performance?
Well, you know, she wasn't their top scorer at all, but I just really liked her contribution. And I think it's really important when you've got the likes of Jackie Young, Mabry, Whitcomb that can score so prolifically from the outside, that we see somebody like Darcy Garvin having an influence on the game. So she was very much inside out. Started off, she got some great inside looks, and then she rebounded. But she got some perimeter shots, which I was really happy to see, because we know she's a great three-point shooter and a spot-up shooter. So I just like the fact that she had influence on this game, and it wasn't just guards, but she certainly, to me, stood out.
Marina Mabry also was another one that stood out. She's had a run of injuries throughout the season, but she came back in a big way tonight. Top scored on the floor with 19 points to go with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. What did you make of her performance, Laurie?
Well, I guess the fact that she's, you know, getting more minutes each game that she's come back since injuries, and we're starting to see some of that form that she wowed us with, you know, at the start of the year when we first saw her on our screens. And you know, a little bit of razzle-dazzle. She can pull up with a hand in her face. I thought she played, at times, better defense than I'd seen her play in the past. So, you know, I think she's going to get, which is a bit scary for the other teams, better and better as each game goes on. And so, you know, that's something that Perth would be aware of, and certainly Ryan made note of that to me, and would be happy at where she's at right now.
It's certainly a scary prospect. She's got a lot of potential and upside to her game. Of course, she has to go to Canberra next for Game 2, and the Caps will have a lot of work to do, but will love the home court advantage. Of course, not on the home court they would have wanted, but they do have a loud crowd over there at Southern Cross Stadium. How do you think they're going to bounce back and respond?
Well, you know, it's a smaller stadium, and it'll feel very intimate, everybody on top of each other, and I think it'll help Canberra. I think they'll really get the energy from the crowd, and they'll go away, and as Britt Smart said, you know, she feels there's things that they can do to correct that will make the difference. And so all you can do is control the controllables, and hope they, you know, rest, recover. And there's not a lot of time to, you know, prepare, get back on the training track and be ready for Sunday afternoon.
So our first night of WNBL semi-finals is wrapped up, and of course Melbourne and Perth, first and second on the ladder, both got the wins tonight. Laurie, let's talk about the Melbourne game first. Who looked good from your point of view in that game?
Oh, well, there was a variety of people. Again, Tess Madgen, you know, really lit it up and played a great role in that. Lindsay Allen, as I said when I was calling the game, I thought did a really good job of how she used the on-ball screen and her decision-making out of that. Kayla George had a great second half. In fact, you know, most of them was a really good second half, because the first half, boy, I think Guy Malloy would have just been going, oh, here we go again, you know. But to their credit, they came out and had a great second half and finished that game off in style.
So obviously Melbourne, they had a massive comeback win, a big second half to round out that game, but Perth, they were dominant all along in this game tonight. Do you think they've got the potential to win Game 2 and perhaps do a straight set sweep of the Caps?
Well, I think both Melbourne and Canberra would feel pretty good going into Game 2, and that would be the ideal, because if they could win Game 2, then they don't have a midweek game, and then we look straight to the grand final next Saturday. So, but you know what? Certainly Adelaide and Canberra aren't going to let that happen or hand it to them on a silver platter. They're going to have to make them work really hard for it. And I think both those teams would be confident again. Playing in the home court makes a big difference. So we'll see it. You know, yes, they want to win it in 2, but certainly the other teams don't want to let them.
So they've both got the win tonight, and they've both got their semi-final campaign off to a good start. And of course, we're going to have some more WNBL action for you across the weekend. Adelaide, Melbourne, and then the Caps hosting Perth. But for now, farewell from Julia Montesano, Laurie Chizzy, Greg Heyer, and our production team. We'll see you soon.